we're getting more breaking news, Gaurav. You want to tell us that breaking news that we're getting 2 Pakistani jets have been shot down. 2 Pakistani fighter jets have been shot down. Gaurav.
So this is clear escalation by Pakistan, and Pakistan's escalation that's being responded to by India. Pakistan has officially conceded that it's lost two JF-17 Thunders. JF-17 Thunders, like we told our viewers, is a Chinese origin aircraft. Block 3 has just been acquired. 34 of those have been acquired by Pakistan very recently. They're still getting to work with the newer blocks of these aircraft. Very potent weapon platform. However, they've been downed. The information according to sources right now. So the Pakistanis have said 2 JF-17s. Sources are saying one is a JF-17 Thunder, the other is a F-16. But we will have to wait for the official version. 20 Pakistani missiles, their missile attacks have been thwarted in Jaisalmer. So yes, Asim Munir is opening up. But may I just, Rajdeep, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's weapon of choice both times, whether it was after Pulwama or after Pahalgam, has been Indian Air Force. Whether it was sending an Indian Air Force at Balakot and to bomb Balakot, or using the Indian Air Force post Pahalgam to bomb 9 places across Pakistan, and especially in Pakistan's Punjab province, and then once again using the Harab drones to take out Pakistan's air defense system in Lahore. So Pakistan is going up a dangerous escalation ladder at a time when it does not have the missile defense shield, especially in Pakistan's Punjab province, in Sialkot. Rawalpindi, you know, has been hit, the cricket stadium. It can be hit again. I do not know how the Indian Air Force is responding right now, because we will have to wait for the official briefing. Sources are giving us a picture of how Indian drones, you know, Pakistani drones have been stopped, but Indian drones, when they strike, Pakistan won't have much to stop it except use its air power, and its air power is not as good as India's integrated air power with the missile defense shield, the fighter jets, and the airborne early warning system.
Of course, a lot of this also depends on what is the level to which domestic constituencies in both countries get satiated. There is a strong domestic constituency in Pakistan, there is one in India, both of which at the moment are saying, and particularly the Indian side, enough is enough post Pahalgam. Pakistan, the military, desperate to retain its relevance and therefore trying to create an escalatory conflict spiral, even if they may not have the arsenal to match the Indian armed forces. And that is really the danger when you have a general at the helm who perhaps is willing to take those kind of risks. And that is the worry that India will have. From the Indian side, the fact that we are clearly in a situation of superiority with the Pakistanis, both aerial and on the ground, will make a difference. Meanwhile, we're just getting news that the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has spoken to the NSA and the Secretary of State, Rubio, at the moment. So clearly there is that angle as well of potentially trying to ensure some element of restraint before it completely spirals out of control, Raj. We've been hearing that the 2 NSAs, there were some reports potentially that there were back-channel talks between the Indian and Pakistani NSAs, not confirmed by the Foreign Secretary at his briefing today, but you're seeing possibly the one last hope of some kind of American pressure, as has been exerted in the past on Pakistan, to back off.
Well, I think we'll see more of that, because after all, we are 2 nuclear powers.
Is that enough, though?
We have to see. In the past, there has been intervention. If you see whether Kargil war, which had President Clinton tell Nawaz Sharif to back off. We've seen interventions in 1965. If you remember, the Soviets came in and the Tashkent Agreement came on. 1971, the Americans came with their enterprise, and there was a warning for us not to cross over on the western sector, even as we liberated Bangladesh. We are seeing also in Balakot, the Americans and the other powers intervened so that the situation calmed down very rapidly.
I've got a statement. Sorry, Raj. I've got a statement. The U.S. State Department spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, has said, Secretary Marco Rubio spoke today with the Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. The Secretary emphasized the need for immediate de-escalation. He expressed U.S. support for direct dialogue between India and Pakistan and encouraged continuing efforts to improve communications. The Secretary reiterated his condolences for the horrific attack in Pahalgam, reaffirmed the United States' commitment to work with India in the fight against terrorism. There is a sense that the United States, at one level, perhaps has other distractions at the moment, that Donald Trump is involved in trade negotiations. There's talk of a trade deal being signed today with the United Kingdom by the United States. How much of a priority, very quickly, Raj, do you believe this is for the United States to get India and Pakistan at the earliest to somehow observe restraint?
Obviously, no country, particularly America, would want a third war happening while it is trying to deal with the Ukraine war that's there, the Israel war that's happening here. And this, as I said, takes it to a completely different level because we are two nuclear powers at it. So the quicker, I mean, there is certainly, what is the war objective, right? Why do we fight wars is something that either side will have to determine, and that will make the decision in terms of whether we will proceed down this terrible road that none of us want to see, but if we are forced to do it, I'm sure India will give a befitting response to Pakistan. I've always believed the general has overreached himself. He has overreached himself in this particular instance. He has done the kind of things. You're looking at some breaking news.
The two Pakistan fighter jets brought down, Gaurav. One of them is in Jaisalmer. NSA Doval meeting meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember, the NSA, we were told, has also been speaking to his counterpart in Pakistan, not confirmed, but there has been some attempt at some back channel. But the very fact in the last 2 hours we've seen the escalation is clearly that the dialogue or any effort at trying to bring down the temperature has not worked. If anything, Pakistan's gone up an escalatory spiral, and therefore the NSA briefing Prime Minister Modi at the moment on the current situation. Gaurav.
I just have a quick word on this, that I think you also have to watch, apart from the Americans, what the Chinese would be saying. That's very critical, because if you have to have powers that can come in and start cooling things down, China is a very important component, because Pakistan is highly dependent on China for all its equipment. I think 80% of its equipment comes from it. And in this whole drone war that we're talking about, or electronic warfare, it is China that has actually given somewhat of a push to Pakistan, one would say an edge when it comes to some of these things. Of course, we have edges. We have our strong points on various other fronts, as I mentioned earlier. We are very confident that we'll tackle it.
Gaurav, what are India's options at the moment, given what you saw happen this morning when India went as far as Lahore, Rawalpindi with its drone attacks? What could happen now?
So, Rajdeep, if you look at the escalation ladder and the spiral, and if you look at what's been happening on ground, if we were to look at it from a very cold, calculated view, India's on top of the escalation ladder every time, everywhere. What have we done? We have hit the evil of terror in its backyard or in its bedroom, which is Rawalpindi, which is General Headquarters, which is Muridke in Lahore, which is 4 Corps Headquarters, in Bahawalpur, which is 31 Corps Headquarters. Terror has been hit at source, something that Raj, Sandeep and I and a lot of defense reporters have been seeking for decades. Pakistan terror has bled us since 1993. You've known Mumbai blast, 257 innocent people were massacred by Pakistan that time, and since then we've been bleeding. This is the first time terror has been hit at source. What could Pakistan do? It launched 15 attacks. Did it succeed? It failed. We went and hit their air defense system and destroyed it. Then it's launched another attack. Did it succeed? It's lost to one F-16, one GF-17 and more. But that's a lot of, if I may, they're still trying. We are still on top. They may try more. We will still remain on top. And we wargamed this there are 44 rungs of the escalation ladder. India remains on top throughout, Rajdeep.
So there could be, of course, more Indian retaliation from what you're saying to what we've seen from Pakistan in the last couple of hours.
And he cannot sustain it. Pakistan cannot sustain it, Rajdeep. They don't have money. They don't have weapons to sustain a war that goes beyond weeks.
Of course, we've got to see what the Chinese do in this context. What Raj Chengappa said is significant. Remember, there are concerns about what role China intends to play in the region. We are in turbulent times. A lot of people are asking one question: how long will they last? Most viewers, the single question that most average Indian viewers are, how long will this carry on? The answer, Gaurav?
Well,
do we have an answer?
Know. If Pakistan wakes up tomorrow, it stops tomorrow. It is for Pakistan to wake up. If Pakistan doesn't wake up, then we will continue to try and wake Pakistan up.
If you look at history, either side, in any of these, if you have to stop it, either side has to feel they've won something. So if you look at Balakot, Pakistan felt it had struck back. by bringing a squadron over there and dropping a munition to give a signal, then shooting down an Indian aircraft. We said we had struck Balakot, and everybody
So
said,
we need a draw, actually, in a sense.
Not
That's
a
what
draw, that
Pakistan...
each one
yeah,
feels
okay,
that,
or everyone is able to give their
to go
domestic...
back their domestic
because
constituency.
there are key domestic constituencies here. But let's go back to our reporters on the ground. Kamaljeet Sandhu also now joining us. Sunilji Bhatt, I can see out of that dark bunker that you seem to be in a little while, seem a little safer with your bulletproof jacket. I'll come to you, Sunilji, first, and then to Kamal. Sunil, what are you seeing around you? What are you picking up in Jammu?
Rajdeep, I am right now outside Jammu University. There were reports that 2 Pakistani drones have been shot down here near Jammu University. You can see the doors are locked here, and the university has been shut. And there is panic across Jammu city. There was complete blackout in Jammu city for almost an hour ago, and it lasted for an hour. But partially electricity supply has been restored in some areas, but people are in panic and people are confining themselves to their homes. People in Jammu city had not expected that there will be strikes here in Jammu city. There have been occasions when Pakistan has resorted to shelling in the border areas, be it Araspura sector, Arnia sector in Jammu district. But it's after a very long time that bomb sirens were heard in Jammu city and people were in panic. There was total blackout in Jammu city, and people are confining themselves to their homes. People who were out, there were civil defense volunteers who advised them that they should go to safer areas. There was an desperate attempt from Pakistan to target vital installations in Jammu and Kashmir, but our air defense system has successfully foiled all attempts of Pakistan to target the vital installations in and around Jammu. There are reports that Pakistan has resorted to heavy shelling along the India-Pakistan international border in Samba district, in Kathua district. There are civilian bunkers near the border areas, and people were already prepared for such a situation. They have taken shelters in bomb shelters, and people who are affected in border areas where there has been Pakistani shelling for last more than 15 days. Civil administration has already evacuated most people. Their relief camps have been set up where all kind of facilities are being provided to the people there. These are very difficult times, and everyone has to work in close coordination, be it civil society, administration, government, politicians. Everyone has to work shoulder to shoulder. It's not just the responsibility of the security forces. We as citizens also need to be cautious, alert, and we should extend helping hand to each other, and that is the only way we can save ourselves in these difficult times. Rajdeep.
Kamaljeet Sandhu, what are you picking up?
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and what we saw was a drone attack in Pakistan today. It seems retaliation is coming from the Pakistani army with a swarm drone attack. Now this is actually right from Poonch Rajouri onwards till up to Jammu and further to Pathankot and several parts of Punjab, which has seen drone activity now. But let me tell you, I've spoken to top officials, there's no loss of life, but there is obviously an attempt to create chaos. The entire attempt has been, the skies have been lit, especially with all those drones coming in, several of them now being neutralized across several sectors in Jammu and Kashmir and in Punjab. But the signaling is very clear from Pakistan. Remember, India has already said that they would not want to escalate, but meanwhile what we see is there has been an escalation by Pakistan. Just as the night has crept in, so has the attack coming in from Pakistani drones. But remember, no loss of life, no casualties as of now. But that could only be the silver lining. Meanwhile, it seems there is an effort to have this anti-drone strategic efforts to put in place, and obviously they're being dealt with very, very effectively. But a precautionary on ground, even in Rajouri where we're standing, where we saw a swarm of drones, there is a total blackout of sorts. This is a precautionary measure. The place where we're standing outside, but yes, because we have to put the light on, We've come inside, but clearly there is a strong messaging both from India and Pakistan at this point of time. Where is this going to stop? This is an escalation by Pakistan. Now what we'll hear is a response from India shortly, but clearly multiple cities under drone sort of an attack. But again, let me reiterate, no loss of life reported at this point of time, no casualties. So it does look a lot more symbolic as such, but clearly by use of artillery fire, at least on the borders, it seems there's an indication that they do not want any further response. But Pakistan has taken it as a challenge by whatever Indian forces did to them, especially in Rawalpindi, where the Pakistani army headquarters is based. So a whole lot of defense systems were neutralized. But now Pakistan has come back with a sinister plan of sorts. Remember, it is going to be retorted back very, very sharply. But at this point of time, the night seems rather uncertain. Most people can only just remain in the dark as well as keep their communication lines open.